Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Pregame Show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Jim. We have Tyler. Folks, we got another game in Bradenton, Florida at Lecom Park. How is everyone doing today?
It is another gorgeous day. Yesterday we were shivering a little bit. Tyler was being a little baby. He was trying to find sun, get out of the wind. Today, not so much. Tyler, you're soaking up the sun today.
I am. Cody's calling me a golden retriever because every time there's an ounce of sun, I'm basically moving to that part of this facility.
You're a big giant puppy.
I'm telling you, though, this is a gorgeous day. A lot better than yesterday. Don't have the chills right now. Another great day for baseball. 2 games.
That's right. Yesterday actually ended up being a pretty good day. We talk about when we're recording, it was kind of cloudy. It was going to open up, and it did open up. You know what else, guys? My voice starting to open up a little bit. I can actually talk a bit today, I feel. I'm saving it, though.
I would say barely. It's getting a little bit better. Tyler and I have so far avoided the sickness, so I think we're going to make it through the week all right. I got a little tiny bit of sunburn on my arm yesterday. Today's my first day with the backwards hat, though, so we're just going to have to protect the face.
Got
to protect the face today.
But it's not a snapback, Jim, so you're not going to have the tan line like you normally would. Just a sunglasses line this time.
I don't know. I've been known to just have the tan line right here, so we'll see how it goes. I've already applied twice, though, so we're in good shape.
Twice already?
I've applied twice.
Jim is living in his beers.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? It's time for me to turn into a responsible adult. I think let's see, how old am I? 37 years old now. I can't be getting red, tan, burnt lines all over my face anymore. It's time to be an adult, guys.
I guess. I'm sorry, everyone.
We got to be real serious around here.
So, Bailey Falter is taking the mound. But no, honestly, Bailey Falter is taking the mound today. We have a split squad. We have 2 games. We, of course, are at Lecom where Bailey Falter is taking the mound. However, there's going to be another game we'll talk about a little bit also, and that's where Michael Burrows is going to be pitching at. But before we do, Jim?
Yeah, let me tell you guys about BetOnline. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
So let's start it off, guys. Not only are we here, baseball is dead is in the house. We talked to Dallas Brady and Jared Carabas already a little bit. Vibes are good. The air's good. Everything's going good. So as mentioned, Bailey Falter takes the mound today. Cutch also making his spring debut today. So we've had some storylines, had some things going on. Again, today seems like it's finally we get Cutch again. And Bailey Falter. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? What are you looking for today?
Tyler? Personally, it's Andrew McCutchen in general, because we don't know how much more time we have with Andrew McCutchen as a Pittsburgh Pirate. We don't know how many more years he has left in him. He's probably not going to be given as many at-bats as he has the last few years during the regular season. So just enjoy Andrew McCutchen as we have him here as Pirates fan. He's been a big part of our lives. Let's watch the swan song here, and let's get some wins for Cutch too this regular season.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you got to go to the postseason one more time with Cutch, right? Like before his career is over, you got to get back to the postseason. Let him experience that as a Pirate once again. Let us experience that as Pirate fans once again. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Andrew McCutchen. He was on foul territory yesterday, while we were here, and he mentioned on that show that he really only probably needs 10 to 15 plate appearances to really be ready for the regular season. So he's getting his first Grapefruit League action today. Would imagine 2, maybe 3 plate appearances. He's a veteran at this. He's been to 20 spring trainings, in his life. He knows what it takes. He knows his body. He knows what he needs to do to be ready for the regular season. And it's really just a matter of, getting some swings in, getting your timing down. That's it. And getting through it healthy, ready to roll so that on opening day, you're 100%. So I'm not expecting, a whole lot out of McCutchen. I don't think he's one of those guys where this spring, it's just get through it and get to the season. And yeah, hopefully it's not his last year with us, but if it is, hopefully it's a special one.
Yeah. if there's anyone who like this spring doesn't matter for, it's Andrew McCutchen. Like he can go over those 13 or 15 where he's going to do, and it doesn't matter. He's going to be ready. But the one thing about him, like we kind of touched on a bit, like this is probably the first year in some time where he's coming in rather healthy. You know, there's no questions like, oh, he finished the season on this note or finished the season on that note. Like he's coming in at a pretty healthy year, you know, last year overall. I mean, he's still getting nicked and banged up and whatnot, but he's coming this year healthy, looks pretty good. Get his 15, you know, plate appearances, have a day, and enter the year as the team's primary DH. So I'm excited to see Andrew McCutchen today. He's walked by a few times already. Okay, coach. let's maybe swing the bat today, bud.
Yeah, let's see some swings. I agree. I mean, if they want to keep throwing them balls, that's fine. But yeah, let's take some cuts.
Yeah.
You know what else? I'm excited to see Cutch with the ABS system.
Yes.
I'm gonna assume he probably isn't gonna use it.
That's my prediction today. He's going to use it one time.
Ooh, already finding predictions.
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Cutch isn't allowed to use the ABS system. Like I bet that's like a coaching mandate. Save the ABS system for later in the game with the reserves, with the guys who know how to use it, who have experience using it. That would be my guess.
Is it forbidden from Cutch because anytime he gets rung up, he's going to call for it, and they don't want him to use them all? Is that are we alluding to?
Yeah, I guess if there is an instance where he's rung up on a pitch where he knows it's a ball, yeah, go ahead, use it. Get another swing in.
All right. So again, that's Cutch is making his debut. We're all excited for that. Shout out to Penn for the $2.
Penn's the man.
Penn says prediction on Cutch homers this season. So that's his question.
Ooh. So Cody says 12 over here in the background behind the camera. I think that's maybe on the low side, depending on how many plate appearances he gets. I don't know. Do we want to answer this question now, or like do we wait for our over under episode? Because here's the deal: if we answer now, this can't be a question on our over under show.
Answer now. Penn put it out there. Go ahead and give it an answer. I mean, it can. You can still
17.
I'll go 14.
All right.
I'll go 16. I'm going 16. Cool. All right. So like you mentioned,
Thanks, Ben.
Andrew McCutchen making his debut, also making his Grapefruit debut is Bailey Falter. So he does take the mound today at lecom. Let's kick it on over to the pitching Inza. So Tyler, what are you looking for out of Bailey Falter today?
That's a really difficult question because we saw Bailey Falter last year.
Yes.
It was a very, very ugly spring for Bailey Falter. We were arguing that he shouldn't be in the rotation on opening day. He proved us wrong. He had a very solid year. Perfect for what you want out of the back end of your rotation. I don't know if I really want to see too much out of Bailey Falter right now. I don't know what to really think about him at this point because I don't know if they really want to take him out of the rotation. Oviedo coming off injury. It feels like he's going to start the year a little bit slower, maybe not in the rotation. So Falter maybe gets pushed by Heaney at some point. Right now, it seems like he's kind of locked into the rotation. We saw what he did last year. Spring doesn't really matter to him. He's able to perform no matter how he does in the spring. Again, I hate going back to the health part, but again, it's stay healthy. That's it.
I mean, you're right, because after last spring and how awful of a spring it was for Bailey Falter, and it was bad. He was maybe the worst looking pitcher here. As far as just getting shelled, like he did not look good last spring. And then, the first inning of his first start, he got shelled again. But then you saw him settle in, and like you mentioned, he was a really valuable member of this pitching staff for the entire season. I think he wore down a little bit towards the end of the year, but overall gave the team quality innings and was a very serviceable back-end starter for this team. Let me ask you this question. Is there a scenario where let's assume Bailey Falter gets through spring healthy? Is there any scenario at all where he's not in the rotation?
I mean, that's a really good question. And like theoretically,
like let's say he comes out and he has the exact spring as last year, right? And he gets shelled, and Oviedo and Heaney and Chandler and Ash, like all these other guys look great. Like, is there a scenario where Falter's not on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point of view is, No Skeens is there. Mitch Keller's there. Jared Jones there. I mean, we talk about day in, day out. I mean, the top three is absolutely there. From that point on, there can be options. Heaney's here. He's going to start. You don't sign Andrew Heaney to be a reliever. So you put him in the top 5 as well. So who is that fourth? Is it Bailey Falter? Is it Oviedo? Like we said, like I'd prefer Heaney and Falter fill in the back end of that, allow Oviedo to go and be a weapon, in that bullpen. And then allow the other guys too to stay in AAA. I mean, again, like that's why we talk about Bubba. Like Bubba's in a situation like Jared Jones was last year. He could make the opening day, but there's a need as when Jared Jones was performing last year. So it just makes sense to have Bubba, Ashcraft, Burrows, all them, line up in AAA. But like, I guess technically speaking, like there is a possibility. I mean, theoretically, Bailey Falter is still kind of fighting for his job a bit. I mean, Heaney's in here now, so there's 4. Is it Falter? Is it Oviedo? Like, what if Oviedo has a fantastic spring? You already know the upside is in there. What if it's Bailey Falter going to the bullpen at that point in time? Like, it's a possibility. I think he has the inside track, of course, and what he did last year. Also, career innings he threw last year. I mean, you take away that first inning he threw in Miami and the spring, and you're talking of, hey, Bailey Falter had a really productive year last year.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. You compare it to last year, there was a little bit more need, I think, in the rotation. That's why we saw Jared Jones, like you mentioned. This year, there is a little more competition in the rotation. I don't know what Oviedo would have to do to break camp in the rotation. So that's why, coming off the injury, I feel like Falter kind of has it locked up. Now, if Oviedo does come out and he's lights out, maybe there's a possibility. But still, with Heaney being the only lefty at that point, I feel like they stay with Falter.
I think you also have to realize Bailey Falter has 0 options. Someone like Oviedo, he does have options available. And you know that it's going to take you at least 9 starting pitchers to get through a season. So I'm to answer my own question, I don't really see a situation where if Falter gets through spring healthy, like Falter's in the rotation, mostly because just by attrition, you're going to need a lot of arms. And if you remove Falter from that rotation, I don't know if he's necessarily got the upside in the bullpen that he can provide you the help in the rotation, that the value that he can give you in the rotation. So my guess is that if Falter gets through this spring healthy, like he's in the rotation.
Yeah. And again, maybe you kind of want him to have a really, really bad spring because that's what he did last year. So, like, I'm kind of rooting for Bailey Falter to look terrible. Sorry, Bailey, but hey, it kind of is what it is. That's what led you to your success last year. So, I mean, let's not break patterns, right? It's baseball.
So it is a split squad today, right? We're here at lecom. The other half of the Pirates are playing the Atlanta Braves over in their place. But some interesting things here. Like I said, we're not going to be watching that game, but that is going to be the game that is televised. So for you folks who are at home, you're going to be watching the away squad if you're watching on MLB.tv. Jack Sawinski starting in left field, but I want to talk about a couple main things that I'm seeing here. One, Nick York starting at first base, and Nick Gonzalez starting shortstop in that game. So a couple guys, obviously, York in particular fighting for a spot on this team. Nick Gonzalez, who we're kind of assuming is going to be the starting second baseman, but there's still competition to be had there. That position's still up for grabs. Like Gonzalez definitely needs to win it and show that he wins it. But Gonzalez flashing his versatility today as the shortstop on that team, and I wonder if this is kind of a sign that is he in the mix to be a shortstop, or are we more just looking at this as he's the backup shortstop?
Yeah, I think you hit it there with him being the backup shortstop. This team really doesn't have one at this point. And if it's Nick Gonzalez, I still would prefer to go with a glove first type of option as a backup shortstop there. Nick Gonzalez showed he can fill in adequately. If something does happen to IKF, I don't know if you feel comfortable going with Nick Gonzalez for a longer term. But as a backup shortstop, I think that's what they're showing right now, that he probably does have the inside track to back up IKF in that role.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's spring. You have plenty of options, and a lot of these guys have a lot of defensive versatility, right? So you're putting them out there. I do kind of hedge to, IKF is your starting shortstop. I don't know if there really is like a battle there per se, because I guess the outside is if there is, IKF slides to the utility guy. Gonzalez is your shortstop, and Trill is your second baseman. Like I don't really hate it per se, but I mean, I don't really know if I want Trill as a starting, like IKF and Trill I want as utility guys. So I kind of look at his IKF is your shortstop. Gonzalez is going to be backup, right? So this gives him the opportunity to keep playing. And again, like Nick York's fighting for a spot, putting him at first base. I anticipated that. Going back to our conversation before with Adam Frazier, like you're going to see guys throwing out there, whatnot, but it's like I don't really anticipate a scenario where Adam Frazier is really your first baseman because of you have like guys like Nick York who's playing first base today. But yeah, Eric Gonzalez. Jeez.
That's a throwback.
Speaking of glove first, guys, I don't want that Eric Gonzalez situation.
That's a
but
throwback.
Nick Gonzalez at shortstop. I think you'll see a good bit of it this spring.
Yeah, I hope we see more Nick Gonzalez at shortstop than what we're expecting, to be honest, because then that means IKF can kind of play that role where he's bouncing around. I trust Nick Gonzalez as short. I think a little bit more than Tyler does. The arm is probably like the only concern that I have there in terms of just being able to consistently make that throw. But I mean, he played shortstop in college. He played shortstop throughout the minors. He's played shortstop in the majors. I think he's very capable of playing that position. It's just, once you get to the grind of like a 162 game schedule, can he do that? And that's still a question that needs to be answered. I like his bat a lot better if he can play shortstop, and then that opens up the door for the younger guys like a Nick York, who you just acquired, and you're hoping to get something out of him. Like York's probably best position from a fit standpoint is second base, right? And Gonzalez's best fit would be shortstop if he can prove that he can play that position, because then you're looking at two guys who have a little bit of upside offensively, can field their position. And it moves IKF to more of a bouncing around type of role where I think he can thrive.
Yeah, I mean, like Brandon makes a comment here. York at second, Gonzalez at short. I mean, like eventually, if York proves himself, he plays second, slide Gonzalez at short. Like I don't hate that as well. Again, York has to kind of prove himself. Right now, IKF is the proven commodity, so I'm leaning towards IKF and Gonzalez there. But I guess like what Tyler's saying, I mean, I would prefer a better glove than Nick Gonzalez at shortstop. But given the options that are available to this team, I'm not going to hate him playing shortstop, but that puts IKF more of where he can succeed into. And again, that means like a person like Nick York stepping up and becoming and showing himself like, hey, I can be an everyday player. But I think we're not ready to go there yet.
Yeah, and I think if Nick Gonzalez can play shortstop, similar to the production that IKF gives you defensively, I think I'm more comfortable with Nick Gonzalez playing shortstop and letting IKF bounce around the diamond because that is his value. You're not losing as much value from a Nick Gonzalez if he can play just an adequate shortstop for a long period of time rather than second base. You do think he's going to be a plus defender at second, but playing the premier position of shortstop with his bat, I think puts the Pirates in a good position. And it also, you mentioned what it does for IKF and how much value he could provide them being able to bounce around.
Right. Again, as we keep talking about, IKF's in the best situation by him being put all around the diamond. You're putting him in a position right now where he isn't as good at other positions, so he's playing that full time. And again, you're playing him full time now, other than sparingly. So, we don't know how much the bat's going to be able to play doing that every day. So, I think again, like eventually that might be the play. We'll be talking about in June, July, everyday shortstop Nick Gonzalez. But opening day, I definitely don't see that.
Also on the split squad team, like I said, Falter starting here at lecom. Mike Burrows getting his first action against Atlanta, so he'll be starting over there. Mike Burrows is interesting because coming through the system, the guy was a minor league pitcher of the year at one point. He was a prospect that you were kind of banking on to hit this rotation maybe in like 2023, right? Like we were expecting Mike Burrows to arrive 2 years ago. And we were expecting pretty big things out of him. The injuries have certainly kind of derailed that path, but he's now here. He's healthy. He's on the 40-man roster. What kind of things are we looking for out of Mike Burrows?
So I think with Mike Burrows, I'm just looking for him to provide any type of major league value at this point. I think the ship's probably sailed right now, as we sit, on him being a rotation option early in the year. He might be a guy that fills in the bullpen. Any type of major league production you can get out of him at this point, I think you take, and then you build off of that. Maybe he does end up finding a way back into the rotation or fighting for a depth spot there. But I think his value this year is going to come in the bullpen.
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you said. It's funny because, Jim, what you said is absolutely correct. I mean, pitcher of the year, we had high hopes, and now it's almost as if he's like the forgotten guy. And it's really nothing like a disservice to him. It's, for one, this team has done a good job developing guys, and it's been a lot of velocity, right? You look at Ashcraft and you look at the sexiness. I keep talking sexiness, but like there's this sexiness in there, right? Look at this stuff. You crave that. And Burrows has kind of been like the guy that's fallen behind. But hey, listen, like you saw him pitch in New York the end of the season last year, and there was some stuff to like just seeing that, right? So I don't know where it's going to come. I mean, again, injuries happen. Ashcraft hasn't thrown a whole lot, of innings. He's been injured. I know Burrows is coming off of an injury the season before, but like you can expect him to probably throw innings, right? He's built kind of throw innings. So I don't really know where the value does come. I don't. But he's definitely has good talent and adds to this depth for sure.
Yeah, I think I like that they gave him some MLB experience at the end of last year, got that debut under his belt, so he doesn't really have to deal with that. Like that's out of the way for him, right? Right now it's just a matter of, okay, how can you help this team? And I think he can help the team in multiple ways. One, being that starting option. And I think if stuff happens early on in the year and you need a starting pitcher early, I think Burrows is probably one of the guys who, if you're looking at like a depth chart, and you're saying, okay, who's like the next guy up, and you're looking at the prospects, and you're looking at Burrows, Chandler, Ashcraft, Harrington. If you're looking at those four, like who gets a spot start out of those four? And Burrows is probably the answer to that question, just because from a development standpoint, like he's farther developed than the other guys. He's got more AAA experience. He's got more upper level minors experience. He's like, I mean, you could have said Mike Burrows was major league ready 2 years ago. Right. And I think you could probably say like Ashcraft, Harrington, Chandler are very close to that, but not quite there. Whereas Burrows, again, he's already made his debut. He has the upper minors experience. I feel like he's got an opportunity if there were some things to happen early on in the year where like I think he could be given a shot there. I'm not sure if they want to start him off as a reliever. Like, I don't think he could make this team in the bullpen. I think you still want to use him as like that starting depth option. Long term, he may be a reliever, but right now, I think you need him for that starting depth. And an opportunity could present itself to Mike Burrows early on this year, where he gets a spot start or two.
Yeah, I think when I envision Mike Burrows this year, I'm thinking of a guy that's going to be in AAA starting, once a week, every fifth day, whatever schedule they have him on. But I also see him as a guy that could be up for 2-3 weeks at a time to serve in a bullpen role. But you keep him on that starting pitcher schedule in the minors, and he's a guy that's kind of up and down, or like you said, in a spot start situation. But I think we'll see him more as a reliever at the major league level this year than we will as a starter.
Yeah, again, absolutely fair. Jim, you make a really good point, and I do absolutely agree. You probably look at Bubba Chandler and Harrington like above him as far as like the depth chart, right? The guy's a better talent, but I certainly think Mike Burrows is the option if something happens in April or May. That he's going to call upon him because you're not going to want to tweak with other guys. You have them on their pace, but again, like that's the value of having a Michael Burrows, right? You can go ahead and let these other guys develop, right? You have a game plan. You go through with that game plan, and Michael Burrows. Here, we have an issue. You're ready. You can handle this. Go ahead and do it and help us out. And again, like that's a good arm. Like I feel confident if Michael Burrows had to fill in for anyone, right? Come April, May. I feel pretty good about Michael Burrows being in that rotation. So yeah, big start for him today. Anything you want to see out of him? Health and smiles, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it for the pitchers. Just get through this spring healthy. We've already seen some teams, they're scrambling because they've got pitchers who are hurt. The Pirates so far, knock on wood, they've avoided that so far this spring, where everybody seems to be, they're healthy right now. And that's the goal, is to get through this month healthy so that you can enter the season with your full arsenal of arms. Like you look at the Mets right now, and with Manaea out, and like Clay Holmes is like their number 2 starter, right? So it's like, even teams with huge budgets and huge payrolls are getting themselves into sticky situations because of pitcher injuries.
The Dodgers all of last year, I mean, again, infinite amount of funds, and they had to have 10 pitchers, I think, with 5 or more starts just to get through. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think you feel really good. If you feel really good about anything, it's the Pirates pitching depth right now.
Yep.
I'm with you there. Cool thing. I just actually I just realized Billy Cook just walked by here. It's a Billy Cook revenge game today, guys.
It is.
It is.
Oh. Are we doing predictions?
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet. But yeah, Billy Cook revenge game today. On top of that, glancing at the Orioles lineup, you got Jackson Holiday. I mean, this is a nice looking Orioles lineup that Bailey Falter is going to be starting again. So you got Jackson Holiday, Ryan Mountcastle. You've got Colton Cowser, Kobe Mayo, Heston Kjerstad, all in there. So the Orioles bringing a lot of their young hitting talent. Really, no Gunner, no Adley, but it's pretty nice Orioles squad today too.
So what you're saying is that if Bailey Falter throws 2 shutout innings, it's Cy Young time, right?
Absolutely,
We're starting that.
Absolutely. Or maybe we're in trouble because last year
Again,
we saw Falter in Sarasota.
I need 10 earned into 2 innings for Cy Young talk.
Or think of how much better he'll be in the regular season if he has a good spring, if he was that good off a bad spring.
You know what? This is a big spring for Bailey Falter because this is going to determine how we know how to determine his future.
Very true.
If he does what Tyler does.
Do we sense a pattern?
Yeah. Because Tyler makes a good point. Make it even better. Anyways, though, speaking of health, just want to put it out there. So Brian Hayes will go back to third base today as well. Again, we keep hearing about the health. We keep hearing about the good vibes, how he's in a good place right now. He did go for 2 for 2 with a stolen base the last game. So again, that's always been, we keep talking about the pitcher side about health. But as far as the hitting side, I just feel like Brian Hayes is the epitome of that. All I want to see is health. Does he feel healthy? He's playing games. He's getting out there. So again, another game for Brian Hayes. I mean, he could be a big part of this team if they're going to be productive and good this year.
Yeah, 2 hits yesterday. I mean, it's been a good spring for him. You saw him. We haven't really seen him pull the ball yet. It's been a lot of going up the middle, going the other way, which is that he was successful doing that to an extent, right? The beginning part of his career, and maybe that's a way to kind of keep him from using too much of his back and torquing it too much. I'm not sure, the strategy behind that, but yeah, we really have seen him go to right field, go up the middle with pitches so far. Everything we're hearing is that he's in a good spot. So going by what we're hearing, that's the best news you could possibly have right now on Brian Hayes, is that he feels good. He feels good about his season. He thinks that he's back to the place he was, that second half of 2023 when, that made me place a futures bet on him for NL MVP last year. So,
it did.
I mean, if he's back to that guy, who knows? And again, I keep talking about, like, if just things happen that we really want to happen, this team is in a whole different situation than we think they are, because, we're operating under the assumption that, we're coming off the year Brian Hayes barely played. We're coming off a year Jack Swinski couldn't stay in the majors. We're coming off a year where Isaiah Kiner-Falefa just bottomed out, the second half of the year. If just a couple of these guys go back to playing the way that, like, we hope they can, hey, it's spring. We're hopeful. I'm trying to be as positive as I can right now.
That's what this is all about.
But it's there are ways for this team to win, and a lot of it just hinges on these guys who took steps backward last year to take steps forward.
Yeah, and just back to Brian real quick. I think we're beyond the point, and we've talked about it a few shows ago, we're beyond the point of wanting to see that unlocked potential with him at the plate. We'll just take 2022, 2021 Brian Hayes at this point. I'll take the guy that's about 10% below average because he's going to give you elite defense. Back be damned, he still looks good out there at third base.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's just an indictment to him. He fell so far that we're just hopeful he can just be healthy and be that person. But, there still is that unlocked potential. We have seen spurts of that. What if he is healthy and he starts tapping into the end of 2023, at least here and there, right? It can be more. But again, I'm just hopeful to have a healthy Brian. Just give us what you did. 3-war player. That's fine. But like you said, Jim, you make good points, right? It is spring. Right now, you're just looking for the hopes. And are the things being provided to you to believe in some of the hopes? And one of them is Brian Hayes' health. And so far, we're getting that is so far so good.
I'm going to clip that up, by the way, where you say, Jim, you make good points. I'm going to use that I'm going to use that the rest of this year.
We're screwed.
But yeah, like if you can just get into the situation where Cabrian Hayes is playing 130 games, like if Cabrian Hayes plays 130 games this year, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a really good thing.
It is. And also, you're not relying on Cabrian Hayes to be a top 3 hitter in your lineup anymore. There are some other options now. So maybe he falls back down in the order and hits 7 or 8, where it's probably more appropriate to hit him there. And you're not counting on him as much at the plate. And you just accept those 3 wins because those are great.
Is there a big, the fly's on the computer screen. I'm looking at I'm like, there's a big, huge fly on your phone. I'm like, oh no, that's the computer screen. Anyways, but no, absolutely. And the thing is, like, you hope. That's the thing. The other guys have to step up so that way Cabrian isn't your top 3 hitter this year. So again, we'll find out a lot in spring. So far, it's the first week. You're just looking for health. Guys getting back in the grooves. What the idea is. So with that being said, we're about to see the Orioles play the Pirates. Do we have anything else, or we want to go into predictions?
I think it's prediction time.
Prediction time?
It's prediction time.
Prediction time. All right, let's start off with Ty.
Dang, I had one earlier, didn't I? And I already
giving
forgot.
you taking away from Jim. He tried to slide in on us like the first 3 minutes of the show yesterday. So
I know, and I told you I had a prediction earlier, and I already forgot what it was. We're gonna go with Endy Rodriguez is gonna have 2 hits today. He's starting a catcher. First time we get to see Endy in the ballpark here, so excited to see Endy coming off injury. Really, the first action we've seen from him in a long time. That's my prediction. 2 hits for Endy Rodriguez.
All right. Jim?
I was going to go with Endy. Now I got to switch it up, so you're messing with me here.
Good job, Tyler. My boy.
You know what? Let's go with Billy Cook. Billy Cook is going to get an outfield assist today in center field. It's going to get an outfield assist.
I like that.
And the wind's not blowing too hard today, but Billy Cook's going to hit a home run. Billy Cook homer and outfield assist.
It's MVP.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, revenge game. Like he's fired up, ready to go.
I just want to add, you make it. Somebody talked about yesterday. The wind wasn't blowing before the game started yesterday too, and then once it started, it really was. So maybe it helps you out. My prediction today.
Let him cook.
Let him cook. Jim, I hate you. My prediction today, folks. Cutch goes down looking.
He's doubling down.
What about ABS though? Does he use the ABS? He goes down.
You know what? He doesn't.
Well, that was my other prediction. The one I forgot about was that Cutch will use the ABS system one time today.
No, he doesn't. He's too distraught. But that's my prediction. Cutch goes down looking today.
It's a terrible prediction.
He's walked by us like 5 times. I should just ask him to use it one time so I can get this prediction right.
But there it is. So yeah. So I guess what we got? An hour and a half basically till first pitch. So
no, we have 30.
I'm sorry, we have 30 minutes till first pitch. So yeah. So we'll see you again after the show. We'll have our post game wrap up, which I believe Jim and Cody are gonna be doing. We'll be back again tonight with NS9 Live, and then we'll be here again Friday for our last pregame show at Lecom Park. So again, we appreciate all of you. If you haven't done so already, please please subscribe. Give you plenty more content. Jim's chomping at the bit to say something right now.
No, I was just going to say NS9 Live tonight. We got the Baseball is Dead podcast. Folks are in the house tonight. So we've got a little bit of content from both Jared and Dallas on NS9 Live tonight. So looking forward to that.
Yep.
Dallas Braden and Bradenton.
Dallas Bradenton.
You guys have been taking my spot here with the lack of voice. All right. We'll see you guys again later. We appreciate you all. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.